like we said, at this jackpot, we're just trying to
stay in the roping,
survive the roping, and we get paid what we get paid that day is kind of the mindset. Yep. So that was a good job on that steer. Chad drills the barrier.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Now this is the kind of run, this is the run that you'll make probably, I feel like half the time at this jackpot, unless you can do it every time, but this is that run that just sets up so perfect. Well, you go back just a little bit. I want to talk about Hunter right here. So this steer comes out. Chad and Hunter both do a great job scoring because he just kind of just eases out. So Hunter, right now, his first move is he's getting himself distance right here. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. But right here, he's already establishing this. That's his pocket. He loves it. And he's already getting ahead of the run with Chad. And he's bringing his rope up. And watch how, okay, stop right there. Here's what I'm going to talk about. This is me perfect. So it's so crucial to me to have your first swing like your last swing. And Hunter and I talk about the shoulders and your swing a lot. And this is where I love Hunter's swing right here because, can you just bring it back just a little bit for me, Pace, please? His first swing, watch how his shoulders are square. He's eyes on the steer. And when he brings this rope up, there you go, bring it up slow. It's perfect. It's on point, on target, the very first swing. Like right there, his tip is pointing at the steer. Hold on. His tip is pointing at his target, and he is dialed in on the very first swing. It doesn't take him 2 or 3 swings. It doesn't take him, a whole arena. He's out. His left hand's in a good spot. He's got slack in the reins. And the very first swing, Hunter is on target, and he's ahead of the cow. And in buildings like this, that is so crucial to get set up because you don't have 4 or 5 swings. You have about 2 or 3, and it has to be on the mark.
I'm glad you said that too, Paden, because look how close Chad is already. Yes. So if he gets a wild hair and wants to head him, he can realistically do that right there. And if my swing isn't on right there or I'm not ready and he does pull the trigger, Chad does pull the trigger right there,
you're chasing.
I'm behind the run from the get-go. So the more advantage I can give myself by being ready as soon as I can, especially on a good steer, on a good start, that's crucial, I think.
Yeah. I love your distance right here. You see the steer stepping left. So now his left hand right here, guys, he's not going straight across his neck with where the right reine's tight and it's pulling him over. He's got his left rein up and by his ears, but it's just to the left a little bit. But he's already poking in a little bit more, and then he's matching the momentum. He's not sending all of his momentum in one spot, but he's just gradually getting it turned, and he's already ahead of the run, so he's just easing over there. Yep. Perfect. And watch right here with his feeding, guys, and his swing. The steer right here checks off. Hunter doesn't panic. The steer's checking off right here. And then this steer, instead of coming out and around like this steer is going to be more of an angle where he's going to come back up this way. And so Hunter's reading that right here. And so what he does is he also knows how the legs slow down. So watch what he does with his rope. He doesn't change anything. We see him feed into it and see how his rope is tighter right through here, just like we talked about. Now watch how tight it is right there. And then the next swing, watch how he opens it back up. You see that? See, and then watch the steer. He's literally matching the steer's hops. And then the steer opens up, Hunter opens up, and then now when he delivers, he's going to pull the slack back out. Tip come in first, big window, high percentage shot, bottoms on the ground.
And if you go back to before the corner pace, just right before it, and then slow-mo, one thing me and Paden talk about and work on a lot, in our opinion, the right shoulder back and is kind of, I shouldn't say old school, but it's a little bit too much behind for what's going on now. So we really work on squaring our shoulders to the cow, especially right before the turn. So if you slow-mo it back to right where you were, oh yeah, this angle will be good. Okay, so right here, you can already see my upper body is already starting to look to point towards the steer over here. Because if I'm square with my target, it's a shorter distance for me to deliver, and it makes it a lot easier on me not having to make a big move to deliver my rope. So you can kind of see I'm pointing my shoulders right here at this angle, and look what angle the steer's at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying my best to match that steer, because it's going to be a difficult shot because he's checking up and rolling left. So I need to give myself the best chance I can. Okay, now I'm square with him this way.
Look how, I was gonna say, look how square your shoulders are. Like the steer is here, not quite turned yet, and then you're already. I feel like you're more here.
I'm fighting for the inside.
Yeah, he's literally getting this spot with his shoulders right here, because this is what's going to create the window where he can see the feet, and he's already reading that the jump ahead of time.
One thing I'd like to ask on this right quick, guys, when you're fighting for that, like that upper body position to get square, let's talk about the lower body and how the actually like breaking at the waist doesn't happen, and like what that does with your, using your feet for as much as this is probably the maximum amount you want to move your upper body, right?
So okay. This is a tough shot, and this is not an ideal position. This isn't where I would like to be, but now I'm in it and I got to make it work. So the lower body is still driving our horse, our truck. We still are driving to where we need to be. So you can still see my feet moving. I'm still kicking, still fighting. But then when I get squared up, my body squares back up.
Yeah. Will you stop right there, please? Yeah. You can run. And I do remember hearing this in a Clay Cooper tape. He says when you heel, you want to be able to put a T-post from your hip to your foot. Like that's the ideal position. But like Hunter, his right shoulder's forward this way, and his feet are curled a little bit, but he's locked to the front of the saddle, and his right leg is pushed up against the swell and the swell and the horn of his saddle. But he's locked in the front. Like right now, if you was to come up to Hunter and you was to push on his chest right here and push on him, you couldn't get him out of position. His center of mass is so strong, and his center of gravity is so good right there. He is very square, and he's got all the strength and power in the world, like right there, to finish his rope, rip his slack, and then go to the horn.
That's what I try to tell people too. Like I try to be I call it a defensive position. Like if I was a football player, I want to be square, I want to be wide, and I want to be strong everywhere. And like we said, that is not the ideal position I want to be in. That's not perfect to me, but
it's all happened because the steer checked off.
Because the steer was difficult, but our fundamentals were good everywhere else. We made it work.
Yep. I thought it was a great shot. That's high percentage for you, though.
Yes. If we do the little things right, we should be able to make that shot happen most of the time.